Hello, music multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. This is You Should Listen To. Yeah, that's right. I put a hashtag together. I'm reaping the rewards of that every freaking day. I'm your host and creator, Beyond Your Radio, Mark Kulagowski. What are we doing here tonight? Well, we're strengthening our musical connection. Well, in my case, sometimes a collection. Maybe it's your collection. Put a little breath in your listening habit. You think there's no music out there for you, no new music that fits your wheelhouse? I think you might be wrong. There's all kinds of albums you might have missed that would fit your palate, I assure you. Tonight, we'll list some albums that you might have missed that would, possibly be in your wheelhouse, or maybe not, but by what we show and talk about and maybe give you a listen, a little peek, you might be intrigued. It's hard to listen to everything. I know that you that watch the channel know that I try to, but so this show allows choices of albums that fall into a certain wheelhouse, a genre, a style, a sort of, if you like this, you really might like this. Maybe it's in your music happy place. Maybe it's close by. Maybe it's light years away, but just maybe your audio curiosity is piqued. On the panel tonight, Styx and Rolling Stones may break his bones, but the names he's never heard of. Jeff Young. No.
You're hurting my brain.
He tried on the psychedelic furs, but it was just too goddamn itchy. The Grateful Dude. All right. Let's let the dude start us off.
Okay, I can do that. I'm going to start off with one that's particularly weird. This guy, I went on a rabbit hole and ended up with this guy here. I was listening to T-Bone Burnett, and there was some cross-reference, and I understood that he was a big part of this album. So I gave it a listen. I gave it 4 listenings. The name of the album is Look Up, and it's by Ringo Starr, and it's this year, January 2025. T-Bone Burnett's on it, Molly Tuttle's on it, who used to sing with the Dead, and she's been with everybody. But this album, musically, instrumentally, is wonderful. It is really, really, really tits. And the production is great. Yeah. The only thing that does it for the album, does it badly, is Ringo's voice.
Keep your eyes on the skies. Don't look down on the shadow town. Look up.
A man, after this many years, the man still can't sing. Voice lessons or not, he can't sing. But
so we have something in common.
That's right. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. There's a chance for me.
Well, he keeps trying. Almost every other year he produces a new album. So he keeps trying. Like we're saying earlier, that if it wasn't for the good people he can track with him, he wouldn't have any album at all.
Yeah, we reviewed this album on Album Review Saturday, and this is the one with the cowboy hat on the cover. He's gonna wear the cowboy hat.
Right.
Yeah, but T-Bone Burnett, man, you're right. The production on it is great. I mean, if T-Bone's gonna touch something, he's gonna make sure it sounds great.
Well, if they would put some tape over Ringo's mouth, it might have sounded better. So
yeah. If I recall, there was like one song where he made it. He worked it like a Neil Young would, and it was all right.
He has a distinctive style. I will say that.
Yeah. That's
You can't miss. You minute he starts opens his mouth, you know who's singing. Okay, so there is being nostalgia there. For those who are longing for the Beatles to come back, maybe this is a small taste of it, or if you just like country, and this is a pure country album, pure. I don't know where it's going or where it came from, but it's a pure country album. So I think that's all I have to say about Mr. Ringo Starr right now.
all right. All right. So there's our first one of the night. Let's go to Mr. Young and see what he's brought for you
I
should
think
listen.
you guys, I think I told you both who I'm doing. I'm doing the self-titled 1971 debut album, one of only two, from Dust. And I can't remember how I found this. It was kind of popped up on my YouTube feed. I might have been when maybe because I was searching at the time for like progressive music, and that this kind of came up for some reason. I don't know.
Possible.
Anyway, this band only had two albums. The one I'm talking about is a self-titled album, and this drummer is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I saw one person to describe it. If Jethro Tull and Deep Purple had a child, you would get this band, Dust. It's a 70s sound with kind of on some of it, you get kind of a slight echo on the vocals, but honestly, you got the same thing with like Sabbath and others at that time, and we still love Sabbath, so it's fine. Sabbath hadn't even come to the US in 71, but this is a good choice for anyone who's curious about music or just a fan of like American hard rock. So this album, I think I found it to be immediately interesting and enjoyable, and I wish I had discovered it. I was born at the same time this album came out, and it took me 53 years to find it. And it was an accident. So I'm pretty happy. At least I found it. If you look at the cover, you see like it screams like metal album, because the cover is just three like skeletons of soldiers, I think, either against the wall or and I'm kind of surprised for 1971 that was an album cover, but it is. I mean, it's not a metal album, even though the album cover would, if you just look at it, you would assume, oh, it's got to be a metal album, because it's just so grotesque. But having said that, I did read that this was one of the first bands to be labeled heavy metal, along with like Grand Funk Railroad. But as far as America goes, American. But this band said they loved Zeppelin, Hendrix, and the Who, and Jethro Tull, and wanted to be more bombastic and crazy. And they feel like even though they only had two albums, they achieved it. The drummer is Mark Abel.
Mm-hmm.
He was 15 years old when they released this first album. He was still in high school. And then he left to join the Ramones and became Marky Ramone, a la Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first three tracks on this song, Stone Woman, Chasing Ladies, and Going Easy, they're more straight ahead, like almost like a kind of a shades of a Southern blues rock, classic rock feel with the first one, definitely with some slide guitar, and right off the bat you get some good drumming. And then Chasing Ladies, the second one, you get a little more guitar, it stands out, some more solos, but definitely that's where the rock portion of the album starts going. Then the third one, Going Easy, is more of acoustic and bluesy, which is pretty good variety for the first three songs. And then after that, there's only like 7 or 8 songs on there, but the fourth song especially kicks in with like the harder type rock. It's like faster, heavier rhythm. The middle section has like some kind of like different acoustic guitar and longer guitar solo before the pace, will pick back up again. And then the one I really like is called From a Dry Camel. that's a slow, darker, heavier. It really does have some kind of like Sabbath vibes with the way the guitar is played. And then it just really, this particular song is, I think, a good example of like early heavy metal. Now, you would never call this a heavy metal album. I would just call it's more like a classic rock, or straight ahead rock album. But some of these songs, you can definitely see like, oh yeah, okay, people are starting to get into the whole heavier guitar thing. And then the sixth song, Shadows Often Felt. This sounds similar to me. If you know the song by 10 Years After, I'd Love to Change the World. That's in itself an amazing song, which is also from 1971. But that's kind of the feeling I get when I hear this song. It's a melodic track and sliding country style notes. And again, some of the bass and the guitar picks up to be a little more aggressive by the end. And then I think the last one is called Loose Goose. It's just a high speed blues rocker. It's really just an instrumental. So the bassist, Kenny Aronson, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He actually recorded and performed with several notable artists after the second album, where they just kind of broke up. So he's played with Dylan, Billy Idol, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Foghat, Sammy Hagar, Billy Squire, New York Dolls, and Hall & Oates. And then since 2015, he's been the bass player for the Yardbirds, who was his earliest influence. And singer and guitarist Richie Wise and the producer Kenny Kerner discovered Kiss and produced their first two albums. So they didn't make it as a band, which is surprising when you hear the album because it's good. But they still were very successful in the music industry. And this is just fun to listen to, man. If you just like straight head good rock, and this is good. It's each song is its own piece. It doesn't repeat. It just, the vocals are good. Just everything's good about it.
You know, I listened to this album after you sent me the track.
Yeah.
And I listened to the whole thing, and my God, I was impressed. They remind me of a band called Molly Hatchet.
Oh, okay.
A lot.
Absolutely.
I like Molly Hatchet.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
They're old time rock and roll, but they sounded a lot like you can see a lot of Black Sabbath in them. You really could.
Yeah. Some of the longer, more hollow, stretched out guitar notes, and even in some of those styles of the way the lyrics were sung. But yeah, definitely. Which is funny because I don't know, like Black Sabbath was kind of big in Europe at the time, but I don't think had even been released in the US. So I don't know if they'd ever heard them. I mean, it's not like you couldn't probably. I'm sure you could hear them somehow, but I don't know. It's really interesting, like for being so young that three kids, two are barely out of high school, or maybe 20 years old, and the other one 15. Like, and that album, I mean, probably that and Silverchair, the most impressive young kids albums ever released as debuts.
That's how I knew about him, because when I did the Silverchair article, they were listed as one of the bands that signed kids that were underage that should have never signed contracts.
Pretty wild. I mean, I know Metallica was still pretty kind of like teenagers when they wrote some of that stuff, but I mean, I think I don't know I think I would still consider this younger, like more kids, but pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I got my first Black Sabbath album in '71, so there was talk of them in the early '70s.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good album, man. I mean, I know I'm gonna keep listening to it.
It's a great album. It's a great album.
And the second album, which is called Hard Attack, was put together. Both albums were put together in a re-release. Like, I want to say, was it like 2013ish, something like that?
Somewhere.
But I think it was remastered. I don't like it as much. I'd rather hear. I don't know. Reading online, like some of the quote unquote cult fans say they like Hard Attack better than the debut. I don't agree, but yeah, I mean, if you get the album that's just both of them together, it's more just like a blue and black album cover with the picture of the three performers. I'd rather have the one that is cool with all the skulls on it, but
yeah, that's good.
Reminded me of the Heroic Doses disc.
Oh yeah, from Gulag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost had them in the intro because that was kind of my play on it too. So excellent choice. I loved it when you brought that. I was like, oh yeah, that'll be a good one. And all right. So do you wish the 80s would have found a future's present or a future place? I kind of didn't, but maybe I do now. Do you love dancing in the dark with concepts that fit bands like Joy Division, New Order, but you wish they didn't sound so poorly produced? Maybe a Midnight Oil kind of fascination meets the Crow soundtrack. This band has one foot exactly where you want it in the past, but they found, like The Cure, that their vocalist has not lost a single thing. The world has changed just enough to raise the musical bar and not feel so out of place. They can roll dark. They can, and they're not afraid to let poetic words of others be their lyrical guide. They've used quotes from The Grapes of Wrath, Edgar Allan Poe. They reach post-punk in a moody, transfixed 70s, 80s horror pornocopia trippiness, which is so interesting. Then they let the new wave kind of spill over it, like a nice I don't know, malaise maybe. All right, I don't know. The synth work is absolutely tremendously tasty in both nostalgia and in the atmosphere, and sort of like this wispiness that allows the lyrical passages to become very intriguing in parts, along with it being very cool, unique, and always within this fluctuating guitar tones that are utilized throughout. And the guitar playing is extremely well done, which doesn't always happen in the 80s type of musical place I'm putting this, right? They've been doing this since 1979, and you've never heard of them, as I explained in the beginning with Jeff. Here we go. If you love Joy Division, New Order, Midnight Oil, The Cure, Simple Minds, and a band called Magazine, if you can remember them, this is the Encore by a band called The Names. This was released on February of 2025 by a label called Spleen Plus Records, right? And they are from Brussels, if you don't know. If you check anything out, Swimming with Brian Jones is the name of the song.
Someday I'll go swimming with Brian Jones. I know one day I will be swimming with Brian Jones. I shall not learn to speak a missing language, nor write a book on gold.
Come on, come on. Yes, the Rolling Stones frontman who drowned in 1969 at the age of 27. He was under the water and apparently under the influence of drugs and alcohol. This is for you 80s post-punk that want to crawl into this cold wave, new wave, and a kind of a time-fighting synth poppers out there. This is not your power pop, but it's got this power to it, an underlying power, like The Cure in it. So there's your You Should Listen To for today from me. I want to thank the panelists for doing this tonight. We'll see you all next month for another one of these, episode 19, I guess it'll be at that point. You Should Listen To. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, articles, videos, podcasts, a few days away. All about music, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Join me this Thursday for an unusual artist that decided to do 2 Sky original soundtracks for Keep It Dark. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching, and happy listening.